Yo, what's up everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I am here to review yet another Kevin Smith movie. This time, Chasing Amy. Chasing Amy is a 1997 film that was written and directed by Kevin Smith. And the plot is we meet Ben Affleck as Holden. And Holden is this comic book writer. He's writing this comic called Blunt Man and Chronic, which is hilarious. And he meets this girl. This girl, Alyssa Jones, played by Joey Lauren Adams, and he falls in love. He falls madly in love with her, but the only problem, is that she's a lesbian. So at first it becomes like, well, fuck, is he even going to be able to date this girl that he's fallen madly in love with? But if they do even date, how will it work? Now, what I thought of Chasing Amy was, I really enjoy this film. I do. At least out of the Kevin Smith movies that I've seen so far. This is my favorite of the movies that he's done for so many reasons. Let's first talk about Ben Affleck as Holden, because Ben Affleck, I'm sure nowadays people talk highly of him. They talk highly about his directing, his writing, and even his acting. Like, people really have come around on Ben Affleck. But back then, I don't think people were as high on him. I think back then people were more quick to shit on him or talk about how bad he was or how bad the movies that he was in was. But I think this movie, he shows that even early in his career, he was good if the material was right. He plays this guy who's pretty relatable. Just a normal guy who he's living with his best friend, Banky, played by Jason Lee. And I like their friendship, the fact that Banky just kind of is looking out for him this whole time. And Jason Lee, I think, plays a much more likable, relatable character in this film, because sure, you might say that he has moments where he's getting down on Ben Affleck for certain things and he's jumping on him, but it's because he cares about the guy, because he's looking out for him, because he doesn't want to see him get hurt. So when Holden does meet Alyssa and he does fall hard for her, when he finds out that she's a lesbian, he's kind of like, well, that's it. I guess that's it. But then they become friends. And seeing them hang out together, and he's falling more and more in love with her. And the scene where he just kind of stops and confesses his love for her, tells her everything when they're in the car, and just pours his heart out. Look, I think one of the big reasons why I liked this movie so much, why I connected to this movie so much, was because I, too, once dated a lesbian. Yes, apparently this isn't something that happens often, because I looked online, and some people call this a science fiction movie, somehow getting a lesbian to date you. But it happened once, and let's put it this way. It turned out pretty damn similar to how it happens in this movie. So watching it, I kind of go like, wow, this is hitting close to home for a lot of different reasons. And I don't know why Kevin Smith personally wrote this movie, like if this happened to him as well, or maybe he knew somebody that this happened to. They do actually date. She does give him a chance. Supposed to be the first guy that she's going to give a chance to and date. Until Banky, who you could look at this as him being a dick, but he is looking out for his friend. He digs out some information, some of Alyssa's past. Some rumors about some crazy shit that she did in high school involving multiple guys, and just, it doesn't quite make her look good. So this fucks with Holden. He's like, fuck. And this kind of starts to mess up their relationship. And what guy can't relate to the fact that if you heard some shit like this, as much as you would want to be mature about it, as much as you wouldn't want to let somebody's past catch up to what's going on now, you just can't help it. You just can't help it. And I think that's why Kevin Smith's writing here works more than, say, for Mallrats. Mallrats was more of a goofy comedy and just had a bunch of stuff going on that I'm sure is entertaining for people, but I relate more to a story that is more personal, that is more relatable, and I can go along with it to see where it goes next. Also, side characters I want to talk about. Dwight Elwell, who plays Hooper X, he was a funny character because he was playing up the whole militant, strong black guy character until you find out that he was actually gay. That's a facade that he puts on in the public because people would give him shit if they found out who he really was. He had some moments that were pretty amusing. But also we get our classic appearances from Jay and Silent Bob. And I said before that I didn't love them in Mallrats, but I think they make a nice moment here where they come in. Jay is funny in this one scene that he's in. Maybe two, it helps that it's only the one scene. But also Kevin Smith as Silent Bob, him telling his story, it actually reveals why this movie is called Chasing Amy, and just a really good moment, good advice moment that Silent Bob, that's really what he should be used for. The only thing that ruins this movie for me, and I say ruins, the movie, it's not ruined for it, but it's the only part in the movie where I go, what? Is the moment where Ben Affleck proposes a threesome between Alyssa, himself, and Banky, where he sits them down in the room and says, hey, we should all have sex. Because that will solve this problem, that will solve that problem, and it will make us all closer and stronger. And that's the only moment where I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What the hell is going, like that's when I completely, disconnect from his character. I don't understand what he's thinking. I don't understand why he would say or do something like this. It's out of character for him. It's out of character kind of for the movie to sort of do this. I mean, I don't mind the very ending. I don't mind where these characters end up with each other. I don't like that scene. It's too awkward. It's too uncomfortable. But everything else works. Everything else I love about this movie. I do. I like the writing. I like the situation. I like the plot, the premise, and the acting. I think everything else, besides that one moment, works. I really enjoy Chasing Amy. So guys, let me know in the comments below if you too have seen Chasing Amy. Do you like it? Do you love it? Do you dislike it? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!